touchdown, Ohio State strikes first.
It cracked his helmet.
Henderson breaks free. House call for Ohio State. The Buckeyes can begin planning for Pasadena. There is Smith roaming free. Breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly. Caught in stride. Abuka touchdown. Buckeyes on fire. It's a Crimson avalanche here in Pasadena. Sawyer knocked it out and picks it up. Ohio State scoop and score. Heavy pressure. Howard delivers downfield. And Smith, he's got it. And Ohio State, who's going to walk out of Atlanta national champions.
The story gets to get told now, and it's a great story about a bunch of guys who have just overcome some really tough situations. There's a lot of people that counted us out. It's the reason why you get into coaching, to see guys overcome things, learn life lessons, and then reach their dreams.
College football national champion Coach Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
What's going on, Buckeye Nation? Pete and Rob back to preview Ohio State's contested matchup with the Washington Huskies. Both teams enter the matchup undefeated. Ohio State is 13.5-point favorites as of this moment. I'm sure that will fluctuate and change throughout the week. But a first real test for this Buckeye defense since Texas kind of disappointed offensively. This is most likely, I would say, the best offense we have faced this season, and probably the best offense we'll face up until we play the Penn State Nittany Lions in Columbus. First road trip of the season, getting away from the friendly confines of Ohio Stadium. Rob, how do you view this Washington offense as a firm test for this Buckeye defense, who's performed exceptionally well?
I will say, you're pretty on point for that first game. Texas did not live up to the hype of, the quote unquote Heisman front runner, Arch Manning, as we see him develop in terms of the season going on for the Texas Longhorns. But, let's look at this Washington offense. I mean, they're 10th overall, averaging 536 yards per game. Now, mind you, it's really, you got to take these stats with a grain of salt. They played Washington State, UC Davis, and Colorado State, but that's still impressive with the offense. So for the passing yards, they're 29th overall, 276 yards per game. The rush, this is their strong suit. Looks
led
like
by Jonah Coleman.
They're going to play some Big Ten ball. They're 9th overall, averaging 260 yards per game. Now, a really strong characteristic of this offense is their ridiculous third down percentage.
Yeah,
that's 75%, which that's phenomenal, man. That's how you sustain drives. You stay on the field after third down, and you control the time of possession, which they need to do this if they want to keep that talented Ohio State offense off the field. Now, they've allowed 6 sacks through 3 games, so they're averaging giving up 2 sacks a game. But they're also perfect in the red zone. Now, this is where things will get interesting. They go up against a Matt Patricia coach Ohio State defense. So Ohio State defense, 11th overall, giving up 227.7 yards per game. They're 6th overall for passing, 118.3 yards per game. Now, this is where they need to win the line of scrimmage against this rushing offense. They're 41st overall, giving up 109.3 yards per game. That's not, 109.3, but it's not elite. It's not what it was last year or the year before. But here's where things get really interesting. You're thinking, okay, what are some keys to win this game? If you look at Ohio State's overall red zone defense, they're number 1 in the country, and they showed it against Texas why they're number 1 in the country. Arch Manning at the goal line, and it's just, I said this before and I'll say it again. It's really impressive that they're able to duplicate this red zone offense, seeing what I mean, the talent they had last year, you know, Tyke Williams, Ty Hamilton, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer. And you know, going up against that 75% third down conversion, Ohio State has allowed 11 third downs out of 43 attempts. So, you know, being able to get off the field, if it's like, you know, third and long, dude, they should be able to get off the field, man. It just seems like, you know, Washington's bread and butter is going to be on the ground, having to control
Well,
scrimmage. So
yeah, they
if
they can do it through a multitude of ways because Desmond Williams has proved to be an effective passer. He's completing 73.5% of his passes so far this season. Jonah Coleman, who is averaging 6.8 yards per carry, that leads the nation, as well as 9 touchdowns. That leads the nation from the running back position. They dump it out to Coleman sometimes, and then other times Williams converts with his legs. So they're a multifaceted offense. They're going to be very difficult to defend. I'm anticipating this battle. It's going to be fun to watch. Something's going to give, like you said, Ohio State defensively about 25% on third downs on defense, whereas Washington's converting 75%. And then, of course, they got Denzel Boston, their elite receiver, who had 834 yards last year and 9 touchdowns. He's leading the pack as well for that offense. So there's multiple ways they're converting these third downs, and Ohio State is gonna have to, one, spy Desmond Williams because he can take off with his legs, and then 2, make sure they're elite in coverage. I'm wondering who's going to cover Boston. Because he's their elite receiver. I'm thinking it'll be Igbenos, and I'm hoping he's following him around. But Jermaine Matthews has proved to be elite for our defense so far this year as well.
yeah, you know, I was just thinking about when you brought up who to cover their elite receiver. I was thinking about Jermaine Matthews as well. You know, it is true that one of our best cornerbacks was on the bench, was coming off the bench last season. So, I
Yep.
mean, in terms of, dude, I trust Matt Patricia in terms of being able to spy quarterback, dude. He's done a phenomenal job letting Caleb Downs, you know, roam the line of scrimmage, and also like just confusing the heck out of these quarterbacks in terms of who's gonna blitz, who's dropping back in coverage, and you know, just we also have Arvel Reese, dude. He's been
Yep.
elite in terms of being able to fake out the offenses, thinking he's dropping back into coverage, putting his head on the swivel. You know, it takes the offensive line concentration off of him, goes into someone else, and in the last second, he just goes in for the kill, man. So, you know, I trust Matt Patricia's, you know, disguise blitzes, you know, his blitz packages in general, dude.
Certainly.
Like, but I will say this, man. For me, the jury is still kind of out on Matt Patricia in terms of a defensive coordinator. I know he's done a great job so far, but
Yeah.
the Huskies, they have three games of tape on them now. So you get to see that. But I can't really name any much weaknesses other than, you know, the rush defense.
Yeah.
Would you
That's
say it's elite, man? I can't
I
really
mean, our
say it's
defense is
elite.
good, but honestly, I thought Texas ran the ball pretty well on us, and they just didn't keep going to it. And I was very thankful and glad for that because they were getting chunk yards on the ground versus our defense.
Was it
So
like
I am
5 yards per
extremely
carry?
curious to see with Coleman, who is averaging nearly 7 yards a carry. I'm extremely curious to see just how good that rush defense is because I think there's still some questions to be answered for the Buckeye defense against the ground game. And we know Michigan is looming at the end of the season. Of course, we always have our eyes on them, and this will be a stiff test because this is absolutely the best rushing attack we're going to face so far this season. Like you mentioned, man, it's fun to see different spies that we had versus Arch Manning in the Texas game, whether it was Down, Styles, or Reese. It's going to be fun to contain him. He's going to be our first stiff challenge as we, most athletic quarterback we face so far, as we also get ready to prepare for Bryce Underwood at the end of the season. But they average 55.7 points per game so far. There's no way they're sniffing that, obviously, versus the Buckeye defense. But what do you think they can put up offensively? Obviously, we'll give our prediction at the end, but Do you think, I mean, they can get the first team to be north of 20 on us, first team north of 25, maybe even 30?
Here's the thing, man. You got to look at this red zone Buckeyes defense,
Mm-hmm.
man. Is Washington going to be able to convert in the red zone, or are they going to have to settle for field goals? Because if they don't,
Right.
I mean, I don't see them getting north of, I don't know, 21, 24 points, dude.
Right. That is the key battle, like
I just
you
don't,
pointed
man.
out. They return all 5 starters on the offensive line, and that's why they are running the ball so well. So it's going to be quite the stiff challenge for our defensive front, man, and our linebackers. Can they hold up to that veteran group? That's going to be probably the determining factor in the football contest.
Yeah,
It's going to be fun to watch that battle play out. I also want to see us get home a little bit more. We started to versus the Bobcats last week, but I want to see Kenyatta Jackson break out a little bit, man. He's been slightly underwhelming for me so far. Caden Curry has stepped up, and he's been a beast. And Bo has
yeah.
performed somewhat well, but I want to see
They
some more sacks.
they only have 7 sacks on the season, so I
Yeah, that's
mean,
what I'm saying.
other teams, man, they're already in the double digits, dude, and it's only been like what 3-4
Absolutely. We're
games.
slacking behind, and we're playing the non-con. Now we're entering the tough part of our
Yeah.
schedule with Big Ten opponents. So
Mm-hmm.
they better step up and start getting pressure on quarterbacks, especially one as good as Desmond Williams. Um, Now, on the other side of the ball, man, the Huskies are a little banged up. One of their starting linebackers is out. Their starting corner is out, and they are surrendering currently 18 points per game defensively compared to Ohio State. Our numbers are much better on that front, but yeah, they're susceptible to the pass from what I've seen so far in studying the Huskies' first 3 games. I think Sayan can take advantage of that, but the key factor for me is how does he perform in his first road test of his college career? Is he calm and steady and consistent like he has been? Is he still accurate with the football? Or does one of the loudest stadiums in the nation, even when they're bad, does that rattle him a little bit? That's gonna be a huge factor to this game as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's go by the numbers in terms of Ohio
Yeah,
State offense versus Washington defense. So Ohio State has the 22nd overall offense in the nation,
yes,
uh,
sir.
averaging 475.3 yards per game. Washington defense has the 25th overall, and they've given up 262.3 yards per game. Ohio State passing offense is 25th overall, 283 point yards per game. And this is what you're talking about. The crack in Washington's defenses seems to be their
Mm-hmm.
passing defense, which
Yep.
they've given up 199.7 yards per game. Now, I mean, let's look at the wide receivers, man. They just have so many weapons. Brian Hartline's going to have to get really creative with the play calling. He's going to have to exploit this crack in their defense, find ways to get Jeremiah Smith involved, find ways to, yeah, I mean, you always want to get your best player involved as well, but also get Bo Jackson involved in the passing game, dude. Get him involved as well.
Yep.
And also, I would say that, find ways to get Carnell Tate involved as well. I mean, you always, again, you
Certainly.
always want to get your best playmakers involved in the offense. But what I also want to see, man, you have the rushing offense, which is 46, averaging 192.0 yards per game. And the defense in Washington seems very good in the trenches, 9th overall, average, giving up 62.7 yards per game. That is phenomenal. But
Yeah.
again, look
Today's
at
comfortable.
look at their opponents. But I want to see Ohio State get the get the run game going, dude. You're not always going to get to rely on Julian Sain and these wide receivers. I mean, let's
Yeah.
say that the atmosphere is a little too much, which I mean, Julian Sain has a lot of confidence and
He
composure
does.
and just coolness. But dude, I want to see them do sustainable drives and control the time of possession and try to keep Washington's offense off the field as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna need it. I mean, let's say again, like it's the fourth quarter. There's like 4 minutes left, and it's a one possession game. All you got to do is get a couple first downs. You need to get that run game going, and also let's look in terms of the run game. Ohio State has not been doing well in the red zone because of that run game. You can't
Yeah.
always rely on the passing
Yeah.
game, dude. It just
I'm,
seems like, I mean,
I'm totally with you.
when the field shrinks, Ohio
Yeah.
State just doesn't have an answer, and they can't. It just
E-
they
Even
don't have
versus
an answer in the red
Ohio,
zone.
early on,
Yeah,
we settled for a lot of field goals, and that's unacceptable versus the MAC opponent. And now we're facing the meat of our schedules. We enter Big Ten play. We have to see improvement in short game situations, and also in just the run game in general. Man, it's not lived up to it. It's kind of gone back to pre-Chip Kelly, in my opinion, and that needs to be fixed. And that gives me slight cause for concern that Chip Kelly was the one that fixed our run game, and perhaps Day still kind of views that and needs improvement in that
yeah.
area.
But here's the other thing: Ohio State may have a bad red zone offense, but
I do.
Washington has a bad red zone defense, dude. They've surrendered a lot of points in the red zone. But one thing that you have to look at Ohio State's offense is their elite pass protection, only giving up 1 sack
Yeah.
on the year, dude.
Yeah.
So again, like I'm not real honestly, dude, I'm not really worried about their passing offense. I think
No.
this passing
No.
offense, this game is gonna go as far as Julian Sane goes. And dude, he is so accurate, dude. His completion
Lethal.
percentage is at 79%. That's better
Yeah.
than what
It's absurd.
Will Howard was at.
Yeah.
But I will say that, I mean, Washington defense, they've had 8 sacks this year. I mean, that's what, like 2.5 per game, call it that.
Sure.
But, dude,
And
giving
the
up
Buckeyes haven't given one up yet this season, so it'll be
get,
interesting to see what gives there.
yeah, giving up 1 sack on the offense for Ohio State's offense, that's phenomenal. Now, I will say,
Mhm.
man, we're going back to this third down battle.
Yeah.
How is Ohio? They're at 46.4%. That's not that great. How is Ohio State gonna find ways to convert third down? It's all gonna come. It's not always gonna be. They're gonna have some instances where it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, and you got to get that run game going, man. They just
Mhm.
gotta. And the way they're gonna do
I'm
that is hopefully they have realized that their best running back in the room is Bo Jackson.
Yeah, he needs to be RB1. I'm really surprised we haven't thrown to the tight ends very much on these short down situations as well. Um, I think that needs to start happening as well. I was definitely expecting that to happen with the addition of Max Clare, and Kasmerick has been good in his 2 seasons in a Buckeye uniform. But yeah, if we have a fourth straight game where we're struggling to convert in the run game in those short yard situations, I'm already kind of made a conclusion about the run game, but it would kind of further cement what I've seen from the Ohio State offense so far regarding the run. We need to see them convert those situations.
All right, so I have Ohio State keys and Washington keys for the win. So Ohio State keys to
Sure.
win. Third down stops again. Washington, they are at a 75% conversion rate in third down. Make Washington settle for field goals, man. It's going to be the battle of the red zones, dude. Washington is perfect in the red zone offense. Ohio State has not surrendered 1 point in the red zone at all. Not
Yep.
even a field. I don't
Yeah.
even think a field goal. Find way, and also for Ohio State, you have to find ways to score in the red zone. You cannot settle for field goals on the road. You got to get that run game going. Washington
It's pretty
keys,
cool.
control the time possession, control the line of scrimmage, sustainable drives. That is the key to this game. If you can dupe Ohio State into playing Washington style ball, I don't think Ohio State can win. And here, like, dude, I've been thinking about this, man,
Interesting.
and I don't think, and this is just a bold prediction, man. I don't think Ohio State will win another Big Ten title, and here's why: because their
Hmm.
style of ball is not meant to win the Big Ten. It's more meant to win on the national level, to win the national championship. But that could be a different
Interesting.
conversation. But yeah, man, I mean,
Interesting.
if you keep this high flying Ohio State offense out the field, dude, there's a great chance that you got something going. And
Yeah, to your
just find
point,
ways to
man.
score in the red zone. Find ways to score in the red zone. Cannot settle for field goals against Ohio State.
Yeah, to your point, man. I mean, our offense has been pretty stymied the last few times we played Penn State. Obviously, stymied the last 4 years versus the Wolverines. The better programs that have the better trenches in the Big Ten, we're falling short in those areas, at least offensive line wise, I would say. And so, yeah, that's a really key point, and we have to start winning those battles in the trenches if we're going to be serious contenders. Because honestly, when you're playing 9 games against Big Ten opponents, especially with a expanded conference, and Oregon giving us problems last year as well, in the regular season, multiple losses. If you pick one up in the non-con and then another 2 in the Big Ten, like we did last season, that's an elimination from the playoffs. So you have to be mindful of that. So we'll see what Day has moving forward. But score prediction wise, what are you thinking for this one? I'm thinking Ohio State wins it probably 31-17, barely covering the spread as it sits right now. But I'm not taking Washington lightly. I think Washington might even have the lead at halftime in this contest. There's a very real possibility, given that crowd life. But Ohio State makes the halftime adjustments. We have the better staff. Jed Fish is a great coach. He's up and coming, but that program is still on the rise. I don't think they have the depth to beat Ohio State yet, despite having elite offensive talent at every position. I think Ohio State does pull away late, taking the dub 31-17, advancing to 4-0, giving Washington their first loss. How about yourself, Rob?
Man, I have Ohio State winning 31. Actually, no, not that. I'm going to do 28-21, dude. I'm
Okay.
going to have it be a close game. It's Ohio State's first true road test. But, dude, I just think that Ohio State, with all those elite receivers and playmakers, they're able to exploit that Washington secondary. And I think that that they're going to make, in terms of the flipping the other side of the ball, in terms of Ohio State defense versus Washington offense, I think there's a chance that Washington settles for quite a bit of field goals and they finally, get, a couple touchdowns. But dude, I think Ohio State just the more talented team and around the field, and in terms of coaching staff as well. I mean, dude, again,
Definitely.
like the passing game for Ohio State is going to be key, and getting the run game going. If it's third and short, man, even in the red zone, that's going to be key as well. But I do like the fact that Ohio State has only given up 1 sack, dude. That's huge, because that Ohio State's passing offense is literally their go-to. So
yeah, it's their bread and butter.
Yeah, man.
One other factor I'm paying close attention to it, and something I noticed last year, with the exception of Maryland in 2023, after bye weeks, Ohio State's first halves have been very poor under Day's tenure. And so I'm curious. That's kind of what I see Washington taking a lead to the locker room, entering the half. I'm going to pay very close, very strict attention to how Ohio State comes out after coming off this bye week. But that's going to do it for this one.
Wait. And another thing you can look at is I think last season there's only one team that traveled to the West Coast and won, which I think that was Penn State, dude. Penn State's come from
Penn
behind
State over USC.
And then literally that night, Ohio State lost to Oregon. So
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Big Ten teams were 1-8 last year going out west, and I don't take this game lightly. So Go Bucks and God bless. We will see you on the next one.
OH.
I-O.